and goal. Melton to the edge. Penn State has done it! A classic comeback, a thriller in 4 overtimes, and Devin Gardner can just sit back and watch as the whiteout explodes here at Beaver Stadium. Wow!
One heck of a scene this weekend, starting with the whiteout, ending with head coach of the Nittany Lions doing a Cal Ripken, giving high fives to everybody across the stand. Mike Stanley and John back here on BTN Live. So let's get more on that now. David Jones joins us from the Patriot-News in Pennsylvania. 4 overtimes, a great loud crowd, a big win against an undefeated team. Put into perspective for me where that falls among great atmospheres at Penn State in recent memory.
Well, the only thing I can say was bigger, louder was probably when Penn State had its renaissance in '05. The Ohio State and Minnesota games that year come to mind because it had been so long since they had won. They'd gone through 4 losing seasons in 5, and it was an unprecedented downturn. And a lot of people didn't think they'd ever be back under Joe Paterno. And then in '05, they won the Big Ten. And that Ohio State game was insane. That was kind of when the whole whiteout thing started. And this didn't quite match that, but it was close. The game is unlike anything I've ever seen.
So how could a team look so bad against Indiana and so good just 1 week later?
Well, they didn't look all that great in the second half of this game. In fact, the game itself was sloppy and choppy, and there were some strange coaching decisions in it. But you know, it ended up very entertaining. They did play a lot harder and a lot smarter, but still, they lack in some talent compared to other teams Penn State's had, and they just can't do some of the things, especially on defense, that other Penn State teams have had. And frankly, I think if Michigan ran up tempo with Devin Gardner and Gallen and some of those guys, they could be ringing up 40 and 50 points on teams. I really don't understand what Hoke and Borges are doing there, but that's their problem. And I think if they run up tempo on Penn State with their lack of depth, they would have been in big trouble. But that was the last thing they did. They ran I formation and kept banging in the line, and I think that helped Penn State.
David, you know, looking at Christian Hackenberg, and we talked to Coach O'Brien, and he's so high on him. From your perspective, where is he at in terms of an 18-year-old freshman? And looking into your crystal ball, where do you see him going, and what's the ceiling for this kid?
Well, Bill O'Brien's trying to keep things simple, and sometimes that is a detriment to some of the receivers, especially Allen Robinson. And they haven't run almost any option routes, for instance, because he's trying to keep things simple between the receivers and Christian. And if you have option routes, then they have to be completely on the same page all the time, and that can lead to confusion when they don't know each other very well. So there's that. But he's doing really, really well. As far as, the thing that strikes you is how many throws he can make. He can make a variety of throws, both down the field and close in, touch throws. He can put it on a dime and get it there really fast. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Joe Namath or anything, but his release is pretty quick, and the variety of different throws is pretty amazing. I mean, he can put it into a really small window, and he's picking things up. And I think by next year, the year after, he's gonna have the whole template available to him. His whole palette will be available that isn't now, and you'll see him grow exponentially.
Well, let's talk about this team moving forward. Looking down the road, we have a bye, and then you got Ohio State. Wisconsin is also coming up on the schedule. How good can this football team be, and can Christian Hackenberg carry them to more victories this year?
It's going to be really tough in Columbus. I just don't think they can beat Ohio State. They do have a week to rest up, but they just don't have enough guys. They don't have enough bodies to battle a team like that's so full of talent. Wisconsin is more their speed, but Wisconsin's going to be loaded for bear in Madison because of last year here, and it's going to be awfully tough. I think they're more at a Purdue and Illinois level as far as talent more like an Illinois team. So I think it's going to be very tough for them to win more than 4 Big Ten games. That's what I would say.
Dave, we've got about a minute left here. Considering everything, the attendance at the games, the buzz around town, the fact that the sanctions a couple weeks ago were reduced, give me an idea of how this fan base feels about this team right now.
I think, by and large, they love Bill O'Brien. They love the fact that it's an exciting, fun team to watch. I mean, I think we're going to see more point-scoring Donnie Brooks here this season because the defense, especially in the linebacking layer, is just so thin. They just don't have enough guys, and it's going to be tough for them to keep up with up-tempo offenses like it was in Bloomington, where Indiana scored 44 points on them. They got a little winded in the second half. They got a little gassed. And they don't have safeties who can close on teams. But people see the fact that they really battle you, that they're strategically so much more fun to watch now than they were a few years ago, and that they're going to give the coaching staff is going to give the team the best chance to win, and they're going to probably do some stuff that's a little bit wacky, going for it on first down,
right.
From wherever it was on fourth down from the 30-yard line in the first quarter. I mean, can you imagine that happening under Joe Paterno? It just wouldn't happen. And I don't know how wise it was. It was one of the coaching decisions I thought was pretty strange, but it's never dull, and you couldn't say that before.
David Jones from the Patriot-News, thanks so much for the time and the insight. We appreciate it.
Very welcome, guys. Thank you.